everybody, I am so pumped about this. You're gonna love this idea, okay? It's a full face of products, basically a full face, real close to a full face, using all products that I think feel funny. I mean, that's the way when I had this video idea, I put it in my notes, like, products that feel funny. They just feel weird, unusual, unexpected, interesting textures, and I thought this would be a fun way to kind of address them all at once. And there are some that I really like, there are some that I struggle with a little bit. We've got some high-end, some drugstore, and it's just all over the place. I'm really excited about this. Okay, so first thing is my Dream Matte Mousse. So this one, the foundation has taken it old school, because when I realized I was coming up with so many products that I could possibly make nearly a full face out of this, I couldn't come up with a foundation that was really a weird texture. This is probably the weirdest textured foundation that I have, and it's a good one. Like, it's old school too. It's the Dream Matte Mousse from Maybelline in the shade Light 4 Nude. And I think what kind of reinvigorated my interest in this product was seeing Catherine Webb on Instagram talking about how this was part of her makeup routine, and I was like, oh yeah, that foundation was pretty good for an overall even, quick, flawless look. So I'm patching this around on my skin, and it's truly like actual mousse. Like, it's very light. I would almost venture to call it fluffy, and you might even see some little chunks as I blend it in on my skin. But as it kind of warms up into the skin, there's a little bit of a meltdown that happens with this product. And then I've got a weird sponge to top it all off today. I'm trying out this one. Well, I've tried it a couple times, hence the little bit of stuff on it, but this is that Real Techniques, they call it the diamond sponge or something. It's got a lot of different sides and facets, but I like to kind of blend in the Dream Matte Mousse with a sponge. I think it works really well. Like, it gives nice coverage, definite matte appearance on the skin. This isn't really a foundation I would advise for super duper dry skin, and I have moisturized really well underneath. I actually didn't even apply a specific primer. I just, you know, it's my moisturizer and stuff. Which, by the way, I'm experimenting with something that smells amazing. It's the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Pink Juice Moisturizer. I feel like I'm so jazzed up about this video. I don't know. This is gonna be one of those ones where I go back through the editing process and I'm like, oh dear. But I just wanna have fun, okay? Just let me have my fun. I'm building up the product. As you can see, I've reapplied a little bit more. I have around these zones. I'm not seeking to eliminate the under eye right now. We've got a concealer for that. That feels weird. But truly, guys, Dream Matte Mousse has been around for a good long while, and I like it. It's not as amazing in terms of coverage as my Super Stay Full Coverage, but it's a quality mattifying foundation that does wear well on my skin. And even though I built it up, I don't feel like I applied too much of it, and the damp sponge definitely helps things kind of melt down. Now, for concealer, this is the weirdest feeling concealer that I've gotten as of late, and it's the MAC Studio Water Weight Concealer. So this is the thinnest concealer I've ever tried. I have it in NC20. Shake it up. I always feel like thin products really need to be shaken, and guys, look. Actual true liquid. So what I'm gonna do is just dab a little bit of this right here in my darkest spot, and we're just gonna start there. I really feel like I want to use a brush with this because I don't want to thin it out, you know, with a damp sponge any more than it already is. So I'm using my little Sigma P80. How's this doing? Because, you know, the foundation, I didn't really build it up in my under eye too much because I don't like the thickness of Dream Matte Mousse in this area. But that did pretty well for as thin as this is, as lightweight as it is. The last time I used this, I tried topping it off, like on top of a creamy corrector. It was probably Benefit Erase Paste that I was using. And I felt like this looked kind of odd on top of it, the water weight. And I thought it would be a real good product to layer because it would be so light. To me, it seemed oddly visible and kind of exaggerated little bits of texture on the under eye. But on its own, it's actually covering a lot better than I expected it would. And I think this is really the right shade for me, and that's playing into it too, because sometimes you go too light and that just kind of messes up the whole thing. It doesn't give you quite enough coverage. I'm gonna give myself just a hint more right here and here. And it spreads a long way. You see that? Like as it hits the skin, it's so liquidy. I like it. It kind of feels like nothing. Do I have any other spots? I've got a little like leftover zit there. A little redness here. We'll just go ahead and attack those areas. Oh man, so when I was going on about how much I like the Lights Down Low song by Max, in another video, I can't remember which one, but somebody said you should check out some sort of special Amazon feature acoustic version of that. Yes, I did. It was wonderful. I also am a huge fan of like anytime a popular song is recorded in an acoustic version. I love hearing the specific like unplugged instruments a little bit more. I love hearing the vocals even more clearly, and when it's a song I really like, I usually will try to seek it out in an acoustic version. So thank you for recommending that, because it was just wonderful. Beautiful song. And American Idol starts tonight. Woo! I am a true American Idol lover. That's part of why I'm like so jacked up today, I think is the deal, because it's coming back and I'm really excited for it. I love that show. It's one of my favorite all-time shows. Like, I watched it from the Kelly Clarkson first season, and you know, it was a little sketchy like during college. I wasn't quite able to keep up with all the shows and everything, but generally speaking, I've been an Idol fan through and through this whole time. Here's a powder that I think is kind of a weird texture. It's the Urban Decay Velvetizer, and this powder is so fine that it just, I mean, it like pours like liquid. It's just so fine. It's incredibly fine. And I know this can be used as like a mix-in product with a foundation, but so far I've just been trying it kind of like under eye setting powder. And that's what I'm going to do today with this look. I'm going to use my e.l.f. small tapered brush and just pick a little bit of this up and lightly go over where I put the water weight concealer, which by the way leaves just a little bit of a slightly moist texture. Sorry, I had to use the word moist. I kind of like to smooth that out. And this powder is so fine, it's capable of going on with very, very light amounts, you know? And I'm also gonna just use it to lightly set my T-zone. Just kind of dab and press the sides of the nose here, because this is really good on pores too. What do you think of the Velvetizer? Like, is it worth trying as more of a mix-in product, or do you like it more as a setting powder? I think it makes a really nice, smooth, ultra lightweight under eye setting powder. But that texture is truly unique to me. I mean, if you have it, you know what I'm saying by it, like, it's so fine it pours like liquid out of those little holes. Can I just do a little regular bronzer real quick? I'm just gonna swipe on my Milani Bronzer XL in Fake Tan. Sorry I don't have a more interesting bronzer to talk about today, but I'm just gonna get this going. Okay, we're getting to the heart of the weirdness right now, guys. If you were just kind of thinking, this stuff isn't really all that weird, now it is, now it is. This is the Butter London Glazin Blush Gelée. It's classier than just a jelly, it's a gelée. And so these were sent to me, and they're strange. I'm going to use the one that looks most blushy to me. Like, there's a plummy one, and I played with this before and I couldn't quite make the color work. There's sort of a peachy one, a deeper bronzy looking one. Yeah, I'm gonna use the one called Glimmer. It looks the most like rosy. Ooh, and it just wiggles. You see this? It wants to kind of pour out on you, and it just sort of wiggles. Look at that. Like, odd. So I've got a little on my finger, and I'm gonna dab that right here on the apple of my cheek. And the thing about these is that they are rather metallic, and once they blend in, they set quickly. Like, that was risky for me to dab a little bit there and then kind of leave it for 2 seconds, because they set fast and they leave nothing tacky on the skin, which I like, but yet at the same time I need a little more play time to blend it in. I don't feel like in person that blush looks super duper blended like a powder would. And all the blushes have this real metallic quality to them as well. So I'm gonna add just a little more, and I'm using my e.l.f. small stipple brush. I'm just not super pleased with the way these go on, and I thought maybe it was just the plummy one last time. I thought, well, maybe that shade's just a little dark and that's why it's not blending in seamlessly into my skin. But this shade should be pretty appropriate, and it's just I can't get a really good blend, and even immediately after putting it on, it just wants to set so quick. When you're having trouble, just grab that old beauty blender and see what you can press away. This is too much work. That's too hard to use. But oddly enough, they also have a face glow. This is larger in comparison to the blushes. So again, from Butter London, Glazin Face Glow, and this is in Crystal. See, look at that, it's super creamy. And this shade has a little pink iridescence to it. It's a little more creamy than straight up jelly. See the stiff peaks we're getting there? Any bakers in the house? Okay. I'm gonna dab it right here onto the cheeks, and I'm not scared about this one. I'm gonna use my little cream highlighter brush. Man, I'm so not scared. I don't even have the proper brush within reach. Got it. Okay. See how much easier this is to work with? And this doesn't leave any texture on my skin either. See, that was sitting there for some time. And look, it blends beautifully. Really nice glow. Hint of pink in that. No unusual stickiness there either. And I'm going to use a little setting spray. I'm using my Makeup Revolution Pro Base Aqua Priming Base. This is very similar to the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Primer Mist. I'd gotten into using this a lot, and then it sort of got pushed back behind some other things, so it works really nicely. It's the type of spray that gives kind of an instant dewy effect. Now we're gonna do brows, and I'm playing with something that's a very different texture for me, and it is the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel. And I think this is a drugstore take on the Wonder Brow product that's supposed to be like insanely long wearing. I'm pretty sure the claims on this said like 48-hour brow or something. And you've got like kind of a furry, extra furry doe foot applicator, and they also give you a spoolie. And so this is going to deposit a lot of creamy color in your brows, which is kind of a risky thing for one who already has a decent amount of thickness in their brows. So I got to be careful with this, but I have this in the shade, what? Gotta say the shade. I'll get back to you on the shade. I think it's like medium brown or something, but I'm gonna lightly apply this as lightly as I can because there's really a lot of product on this wand, and you really got to be careful around like the tail of your brow. You don't want that too thick. And then you can take this little spoolie through it. I can vouch for the fact that this lasted really well. I've worn this probably 2-3 times already. Thought the staying power was good. It's just a little hard to get in there and keep it looking really controlled. Although something you could do is take like a small angled brow brush and pull some of the product off of here if you wanted really precise application in your brows. All right, I feel like I did a pretty good job there. It's like once the first brow got some of the product off, now it's a little easier here on the second. I'm trying to work right off the tip too, so I don't get too much on from the sides of the applicator. The fear of overloading your brows is real with this. Now I'm going to take the little brush. This brush is very important, I think, to the workability of this product. And it does have hold in itself, which is nice. So I feel like my brows are kind of keeping their shape without any additional thing. I'll tell you this much, it might not be a perfect fill-in right now, but that's as far as I'm willing to go with this product. Next up, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put on a little eyeshadow primer. I'm going to prep my eye area with a little bit of matte shadow, and then we're gonna go in with another oddly textured product. All right, creases prepped with a little couple shades there from the Sassy Siennas palette from Dose of Colors. And then here's the unusual thing that I'm putting on my lids. It's from LA Colors and it's called Iced Pigment Powder. The unusual thing for me about this is that when I shake this product into the cap, like you might expect it to be just a loose powder, maybe you're familiar with pigments and stuff, it comes out looking like teeny tiny little like flecks or balls of product. It doesn't really look like a powder that's gonna hang together, and you're thinking, it looks so flaky, how is that actually going to hang together on my eyes? But it actually does a really awesome job. Here's what I do. Take a flat brush and kind of press the product into your brush right there on the cap. Just kind of go press, 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 and you're still gonna feel like maybe things are a little flaky and uneven. But once you get on your lid, press and give it a slight drag, just a tiny tug, and then look at the metallic quality to this. Like, it's super pigmented, super full color here. This is kind of a rosy taupe shade, I'd call it. And it's like those micro little separated looking particles turn into the most beautiful foiled shadow there. And you just got to take a little bit of a stroke with it instead of just a pat, because if you just pat, 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 honestly, it's not enough to pack those pigments together. And see how it can be built up to look just insanely metallic. This color is called Toasted, by the way. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of finish off this eye look with a little bit of a deeper shade. I think I'll use like kind of going between these last two shades here in the Sassy Siennas palette, and just kind of finish the look off in the outer corner. But that's gonna be it. That brown at the end of this palette is magnificent, by the way. Oh, love that. Now just blending over the edge. I think I'll go back to this center shade and just apply a little more of that real lightly right in here. And a little bit of my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight in the lower inner rim. Now we're gonna try a weird mascara, and I'm purposely not doing eyeliner so you can see more of what the actual mascara is gonna be doing. The Besame Cake Mascara. Yeah, you're telling me this isn't weird? This is the mascara. It goes in the tin, and you basically wet your little brush. This is the little old school brush that they give you. You wet that, you kind of rub it in here, you work it into like a pasty cream, and then you brush it through your lashes. This could also be used as eyeliner. They even have instructions for this to be used as a brow product. I was playing with it yesterday, trying to kind of acclimate myself to this because this is very, very different. And I didn't want to go into this completely uninformed, like I wanted to have some info to offer you. So I'm gonna curl my lashes first. What I've done is I've taken a little cap from a product here, and I'm just gonna stick the itty bitty baby brush in this and try to get some moisture on all the bristles. And then I'm just gonna begin rubbing it here right onto that mascara brick. And as you can see, it's working into a little bit of a paste. You really gotta press into it, but you can start to see this pastiness developing on the brush. And then you just start brushing that through. And what I noticed from this was that it seemed to hold my curl and almost prompt more curl in my lashes, which was really unexpected. And I was experiencing that when I was like first putting it on, and I thought I barely had enough like moisture added to it, so it was pretty dry. And at that stage of the game, and I can see it even now, like it's getting some curl in there. But you'll find that when you go back, like I just added a little water to that, and now I'm going back to it, and it's already kind of drying back out. So the back and forth, I think, between the water and the product is something you kind of have to continually be messing with. And I'm not nuts about how the brush kind of makes my lashes stick together a little bit. Adding more water to the brush. I mean, isn't it even slightly impressive that this actually is doing what mascaras that we're used to will do? It's definitely darkening and thickening up my lashes, and it's making them actually stand up a little bit more. But this is the way it used to be done, y'all. Yeah, it says do not add more than 1 drop of water at a time. Too much water will dilute the product and give it a see-through consistency. So again, we'll give the brush a chance to get freshly moistened. I'm gonna rub onto this. And it looks really wet at first, and then you look at your brush and you start to see, okay, it's looking actually a little pasty. I welcome any tips from any of you who have tried this or are religious users of this style of mascara. If there's any trick to making this work its best, let me know. Oh no, I hit my lid several times there. Crisis. Oh, that came off easily. All right, no big whoop. I'm so excited because I ordered a new little storage contraption that's gonna hold my cotton rounds and I think my Q-tips, maybe some sponges in there. I'll show it to you when I get it. This side I'm really struggling to give the appearance that I have more than 5 eyelashes. Maybe it's the brush. Like if you have this, is there any other brush? Like would you actually take a spoolie wand and try to, you know, jimmy it into that product? I'm coming away from the mascara honestly feeling like the formula is kind of cool. I credit the formula a lot for not like immediately dragging my lashes down and being able to control like the amount of dryness that's still in the mascara. That was nice, but I think what's frustrating me more than anything is this tiny little brush, just because it's kind of hard to get real good separation, and I think we're used to more modern mascara wands giving us a lot of good separation. See, it's not so bad. Like the length that it added is actually pretty good. I am, however, gonna take my clump crusher and put it on my lower lashes, just cause it's what I need to do. And did I say that blush jelly was the weirdest texture I've got? Because I think I got something even weirder coming up, actually, for the lips. Yep, I've been saving these lip products up for a video just like this. I ordered these off of QVC a while back, and they are from Mally. They are powders for your lips. They are called Pure Pigment Melting Lip Powder. So you shake it around in here, it's clearly just looking like true powder. Take the top off, it's a doe foot applicator. You can see this sort of funnel. It's keeping most of the powder down in here. But I think what makes the change is when the product heats, basically, or the pigments kind of press down together, it does become a little bit liquefied. So there's the nude, and I found that the nude stays really like true to color. The one called Tender Rose, I'm gonna show you this one. This really went a different direction than I was expecting. You know, that's not really Tender Rose to me. That's like pretty darn bright. Actually like a reddish pink. Mellow Mauve's powder looks like a real dusty lavender, but once it melts into your skin, it really does have kind of a dusty rose look. I'm thinking about putting that one on my lips. And then Gentle Pink looks downright purple in the powder state. It really does have this sort of cool purpley pink look. So that's the lineup of shades. It was a set of 4 when I got them. And so these are a matte lip product, and I'm gonna do the Mellow Mauve, I think. So this one really does end up looking different on the lips than it does in the powder state. So you take the applicator out, and it feels cold immediately. You do feel that powder melting right in. Like there's not even really a point where you see powder on your lips. It's melting just on contact. And that's interesting because with the swatches, you know, you could see that it was taking some time for them to melt down with your lips. It's really instantaneous, and there's a very cold feeling when they go on. So cool. This video is for the people who are bored with traditional makeup and who want something different, like the product risk takers. And as I talk and apply this, I feel like I'm blowing the powder, like it's micro fine powder. Truly, to me, this feels like a matte lip stain when it's all said and done. I can tell there's something on my lips, but it's so much thinner than any liquid lipstick. The nude actually has worn pretty well for me. Like I wouldn't say it's anywhere near an all day wear, but part of a day it wears pretty nicely. I think a color like this will actually wear a lot better for me just because there's so much more richness to it. But yeah, it just truly feels like a lightweight lip stain. But guys, this was so fun. I'm so glad I did this. Let's do a little roundup here. The foundation, the concealer, I like both of these things. I like the Dream Matte Mousse. I'm gonna keep a closer eye on how the concealer wears, but I actually thought that had surprising coverage for as absolutely thin and watery as it was. The Butter London Jelly Blushes, not a fan. I think they're really hard to blend. They really start to cling onto your skin so quickly. It's hard to blend them out. However, the highlights seem to be a creamier texture. It still gave you that feeling that like, oh, I'm using something really different, but it was creamier and much easier to use. Oh, the Velvetizer, by the way, the setting powder. I like this. I think if you're looking for one of the finest powders you can apply to the under eye area, this is it. Some people may like to mix this into a foundation to give it more of a mattified, perfected looking texture. I can try that too if you want me to, or let me know if you've tried it in the comments section, but I think that's a quality powder. The Tattoo Studio, For me and my brows, I feel like it's a little bit more than I need. I'm always trying to just get the bare minimum on there. However, it does have good staying power and I feel like it has decent hold. I think I could get better control of it if I did take an angled brush and got just what I needed in the brows, but then that's kind of an extra step, an extra thing to use. To me, it's a little bit tedious, but I could see for some people this could really be worth it if the staying power is super duper important to you. The LA Colors Ice Pigment Powder was awesome. I thought this gave a really foiled metallic look to the lids, and you're gonna have your doubts definitely when you first crack this open and you see what the texture looks like. Seems so flaky, so all over the place. But once you start to really boss this product around with your flat brush, it's just gonna sweep on and it's kind of amazing how it hangs together. The Cake Mascara was so different for me. I mean, I like the way it kind of gave my lashes sort of a lift and a boost. I feel a little out of control with the brush. I think that was the biggest downside to that product for me. And then these powder lip products from Mally, I mean, it is a really unique sensation on the lips. I'd say if you're looking for something very different, about as different as it gets for lip products, you might give these a go. They really are kind of gimmicky in terms of it's more about the process of applying that's so different than it is so much the finished look, because the finished look is essentially just a stained lip. But in terms of application, I do think they check the boxes for being fun and different. So if that's something you want to experience, they're there. But thank you so much for playing with me today. This was fun. I will talk to you guys very soon in my next video. Bye.